Hello, fifth graders. Welcome to our next math lesson. Today we're taking a look at lesson 14-2. The title of that lesson is Graph Data Using Ordered Pairs. And our lesson for today is going to start on page 784. Now, as a review from the lesson we had last time, we're talking about the coordinate plane here. And we're just talking about a small portion of the coordinate plane. If you remember from last lesson, we said that the lines that go horizontally, the ones that go across, we call this the x-axis. This is the x-axis. And so whenever you go to write numbers on the x-axis, these are the numbers that are going to be written first in the ordered pair. Then we have the line that goes vertically, or the up and down one. We call this the y-axis. And whenever we go to write these as an ordered pair, these are the ones that are going to be written second. So the x-axis number is going to be written first. The y-axis number is always going to be written second. And as a reminder, whenever we're graphing points, we always want to make sure we start at the origin, which is right here. This is when x is 0 and y is 0. It means we're not going to move sideways or up and down at all. X is 0, y is 0. This is where we start. Okay? So the first number is called the x-coordinate. This is where we're going to go to the right, how many spaces. And then the second number is the y-coordinate. This will tell us how many up we're going to go. And if you remember from last lesson, there were a bunch of coordinate points over here, and then we had to write the letters that were on the grid. Well, today you are now actually going to take those ordered pairs, and you're going to put them on the grid yourself. And so what I've done is I have a couple of examples here. So today's lesson is all about just graphing these ordered pairs. So you notice that there are no points over in my grid right now. We need to put these 5 points as well as their labels, A, B, C, D, and E. We have to put all of these points over here on this grid, okay? Now, as a reminder, we are always going to start at the origin. So it means you always start right here. And the first number tells you if you should go to the right or not. This one's going sideways. The second number tells you how many places to go up, or in some cases, you might not move at all. So let's start with letter A. We're going to start at the origin. And the number 2 is the x-coordinate. That tells me how many places sideways I'm going to go. So I start here, and I'm going to go over 2 places. 1, 2. Then I'm going to look over at the y-axis number, and that's a 5. That means from here, I want to go up 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that would be this point right here. So I'm going to fill this in. And right next to it, I'm going to put a letter A, so I know that this point is letter A. It is important, fifth graders, to label it, because when I'm done here, I'm going to have 5 different points on here. And if I don't have the letters, I don't know which point this is supposed to represent. So it's always a good idea to make sure you put a point there, and then right next to it, put whatever letter it is you are representing on that grid. Okay? Now, a common mistake that some people might make is this. I'm going to go back to that first problem here. And they'll say, okay, I'm going to go over 2 places. And they'll accidentally count this as one of the spots. So what they do is they'll do this. 1, 2. Does that look like I moved over 2 places, fifth graders? Yeah, it doesn't look like I did. I only moved over once. And the mistake that they make is they think that the origin is the first step. No, the origin is 0. Remember, this is 0. We want to go over 2 places from 0. 1, 2. Okay, and then again, a common mistake that some people make going up is they'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they'll put the point right there. You can't count this as the first step. This is 0. The first step has to be the first movement away from the line. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're going through your lesson for today. We're going to do letter B now. We're going to be now going over 5 places, and then we're going to go up 2 places. So we're going to start at the origin, and we're going to go over 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now the next number, which is the y-coordinate, tells us to go up 2 places. 1, 2. And I'm going to put this point right there. And again, I'm going to label it with the letter B, so that way I know this one is point B. Here's the next one, letter C. So we're going to start at the origin, and the first number there tells us we're going to go over 6 places. And then the second number tells us we're going to go up 9 places. So we're going to start at the origin and go over 6 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now from here, we're going to go up 9 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so that would be this point right here. I'm going to put a point right there, and I'm on letter C. Okay. Now, another mistake that some people will make is when they see these numbers, they think the numbers represent the middle, and it doesn't. These numbers represent the line. So when you go to make your points, make sure your points are on the line. Don't put a point like in the middle right there, because if you do that, that's not really where 6, this isn't really where 6 is. This is like 5.5. So you don't want to put it someplace like here. You want to make sure all of your points are somewhere like in these corners like this. Okay? Make sure your points are in these little corners like that. And you notice that each one of these are kind of in those corners. We're going to do letter D now. And again, this one is unique because one of the numbers is 0, which means we are not going to move in one direction at all. And for letter D, since the x is 0, that means I'm going to start at the origin and I'm not going to move at all. I am not going to move at all to the side. Okay, so no sideways movement, but the second number is a 7, which means I do need to move up 7 places. So let's start at the origin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so that would go right on this line right here, and that's going to be letter D. So you're noticing, 5th graders, that if the x is 0, your number should be on the y-axis. Okay? Notice the next one, the x is here, but the y is 0. This y means I'm not going to move up at all, but I do need to move sideways. So I'm going to start at the origin, and I'm going to go 9 places over to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so the next number, the y-coordinate is a 0, which means you're not going to go up at all. So we're going to put a little point right here. And this one is going to be point E. Okay? So do you see how valuable it is, 5th graders, to make sure that you put the letter of each point there? Because now I can tell which one is letter A or letter B, letter C, letter D, and letter E. If you didn't label them, I would not know which ones are which. So be careful today, 5th graders. Please make sure you put those letter labels with those points, and make sure those points are on the lines. Don't put a point like right here. This doesn't make any sense. Or don't put a point right here. Again, those don't make any sense. Don't do those, please. That would be very confusing to do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get rid of those right now because they just seem too confusing when we do that. So, okay. All right. So I hope that helps to understand. It's just an extension of the class that we had from last lesson, except now you are going to put your own points on there instead. All right, so if you take a look at your assignment for today, we're going to look at pages 787 and 788. And you are responsible for doing numbers 1 through 19. But then I am going to have you on the back side, you're going to cross out numbers 20 and 21. You're going to cross out 20 and 21. And I am going to have you do number 22. So your assignment is to do numbers 1 through 19 and also do number 22. If you have any questions, 5th graders, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am here to help you the best that I can. If you need to go back and watch the video game to help you understand a certain concept, please don't hesitate to do so. So good luck on your lesson today, 5th graders. Let me know if you have any questions. If not, I'll see you with the next video.